Linear regression, part 1. In part 1, I'll show you how to set up the scatter plot, how to create a scatter plot using your calculator. And in part 2, I'll show you how to find a line of best fit using your calculator, and using that equation of the line of best fit to find any values of the function or any input values. First, before we start the scatter plot, we need to set up our calculator so that the window and the plots are set up so that we can actually see the scatter plot on our graph and we don't have any errors. So the first thing you want to do is in y equals, you want to make sure that all of the equations are cleared out. You also want to make sure your plot 1 is on. You also want to set up your plot by using second y equals, which will give you stat plot. Enter for plot 1, that's what the plot we're working with. And you want to make sure that the type is in this little first, the dots. Your x list is L1 and your y list is L2. If you need to change that, you can go down and you'll see the little alpha button hit up, and you can see that below or above number 1, for example, you'll see an L1. So if you want to change that, let's say it was L3 or something, and you wanted to change it to L1, you'd hit second 1, and that will give you the L1. So everything's set up for that one. Next, after the window and everything, the stat plot looks like this, and you've set up the plot, you can go to window. You want your x min to be below your least input value, your x max to be above or equal to any future input values that you need. So in part E, we need to estimate the number of patents issued in the year 2000, and so T has to equal 15 for that. 2000 minus 1985 is 15. 15 years since 1985 is 2000, so we need this associated input value to be represented in our table so that when we go to estimate that value using the calculator, the input is in the window that we're looking at. Next, the y min should be below your least output value, and the y max should be above your greatest output value. Now that everything's set up, we can enter in the data. Now I went ahead and entered in the data, so I'm just going to go through a couple of them and show you how to change things. Before this, you should have your previous list cleared out. Stat edit will give you the list, okay? And I'll show you how to clear out the data and how to re-enter it here. So one way that you do not want to do is you do not want to highlight L1 and then hit delete. Never ever do that. Go to L1 and hit clear. When you hit enter, it will clear out whatever list, and you can do that for each list. Now, entering the data, you hit the number that you want. So the first data point for the input is 0. So we have 0, and you can hit enter. And for 1, the next one, you can either hit enter or you could hit the down arrow. So I'm just going to continue going through. This won't take me very long to enter in everything that I need for this. Okay, when you're done, make sure that you have an output value for every input value, and just make sure that everything is correct, because if it's not correct, then it's going to skew the results. Okay, looks like everything's okay. So now I'm ready to plot the scatter plot on my graph. Look at that. How beautiful is that? We have a little bit of a space to account for our future value. We have the scatter plot, and you can see that it is tending, that the number of patents is increasing per year of increase.